It's 93.3 WMMR in Philadelphia. Our guest today has sold millions of records, has performed in front of millions of fans around the world, including at our own Wmmr with a few different acts. I think you would recognize his baritone anywhere. It's David Draiman of Disturbed. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you for having me.
Normally, I'm not one to comment on people's appearance in an interview, but you did just post about your recent weight loss and you look great. It's clear that you're feeling great, which is the most important thing. And I'm not going to ask you what your workout routine is because I'm sure that you've been asked that a million times now, but I do want to know what you eat on your cheat days.
You know, my cheat days wait for me at the end of a tour. Because all the things that I really like to eat are very problematic regarding my acid reflux. And
like spicy stuff?
Fried stuff, spicy stuff, chocolate, coffee, everything in life that's fun and good. So I do on the road because of the acid reflux. So I have to stop eating 4 hours prior to the set and about 2 hours prior to going to sleep for the night. So effectively on show days, what I'm doing is by default intermittent fasting. Mm-hmm. So my last meal of the day is usually a late lunch, and then I don't eat until the next morning. So that in and of itself gives me a little bit more wiggle room as far as caloric intake is concerned, or as far as having to eat super duper clean. But burning through anywhere from 500 to 750 calories every night I perform definitely helps. And part of just the discipline and the regimen that's required for me to be able to pull off these songs that are, albeit my own fault for being so challenging, but they are challenging. If you listen to just about any other rock band in existence, and don't get me wrong, there are quite a few of my colleagues, whether it's Corey or Jacoby or any number of those guys that, definitely utilize staccato, rapid fire vocal delivery.
Sure.
But when it's part and parcel of almost every single one of our songs, and it is so heavily laden throughout each song with literally very few rest periods and very few moments where there isn't vocal in a song. The older I get, the more challenging they become, and the more strictly I have to adhere to a very severe amount of discipline.
That's something that I didn't think about until now, is that a lot of singers, as they age, worry about their range in terms of the notes they can hit, but you're worrying about the aggression and, like you said, that staccato and the back and forth between this beautiful operatic singing that you do and then straight up screaming. What's that felt like over the past 20 years to, as your body ages, your voice ages too. So I'm sure you've had to make some adjustments.
Your vocal cords thicken with age, whether you like it or not. It's just a fact of life. And I wish I could say that my range hasn't been somewhat affected. There are definitely notes that are more difficult to hit nowadays than they were 20 years ago. And you just try and make as many adjustments physically as you can. I won't hide behind the fact that there are a couple of the more challenging songs that we've dropped a half step so that they're a little easier for me to perform live, because I'd rather perform them in the manner that the fans are used to hearing, at least as far as the melodies are concerned, than have to cheat parts of the song or hand the mic over to them and let them sing the part, because that's not what
Vince Neil style.
Look,
whatever works.
Truth be told, is like, no, it's interesting that you bring that up. It's not just Vince. I mean, there's a bunch of guys who do that very, very often. For me personally, I don't get enough self-satisfaction out of it. I on a selfish level, I need to be singing these. I need to be feeling them. I need to be singing with the crowd as opposed to just giving it to them. And I know what it's like to be that guy going to the show, waiting for that incredible moment in the chorus that I fell in love with for the singer that I am waiting to hear and not getting it, and like, hey, I didn't come here to sing it. I came to hear you sing it. So I always wanted to try and live up to a standard that I try to look for when I go to live shows myself as a spectator. So it's multi-tiered, I guess you could say.
Sure. Well, you'll be singing it. We'll be singing it. Everyone's going to be feeling it on August 21st when you come to our area, Camden, New Jersey, Freedom Mortgage Pavilion with Breaking Benjamin and Ginger. And you just posted that there's new production, new surprises, big rock show.
Oh, yeah.
So I know you don't want to give everything away, but what can we expect to see when you come to town?
Well, everyone knows how much we like fire. There's going to be a lot.
Pyro, pyro, pyro. Love it. Here for it.
Yeah, there's going to be plenty of it. It's going to be a rig that we've never used before. I don't think that anyone's ever used before. And we need to be very, very careful during our rehearsals to make sure that we know where to stand at exactly what time so that we don't end up getting cooked up there. But it's going to definitely be a lot of fun to play with all these new toys that we have. And I can't wait to unleash this spectacle on the summer crowds.
Have you ever had any close calls with the pyro?
Yeah, a couple times. I've definitely been in the wrong place at the wrong time, and thank God we've had pyrotechnicians that knew when to put that emergency stop in place so that I didn't end up getting roasted. Sometimes you forget just how much is involved with your positioning during these moments, and people don't realize, just how much pre-planning and premeditation is built into every single one of the scenes that are behind each one of these songs. Mm-hmm. So it's complex. And if you're not where you're supposed to be, when you're supposed to be there, you could get a very rude awakening.
Yikes. Well, Wmmr is actually giving away a really cool prize ahead of the show. We are giving away the chance for a winner and 3 guests to go backstage pre-show for what you're calling a keg crusher barbecue with a bunch of beer, a bunch of food, and a whole bunch of merch as well. Signed set list, an autographed guitar, vinyl, all sorts of stuff. And Disturbed has always delivered these elevated experiences to fans from the beginning. And I know one time we gave away, I think it was playing air hockey backstage with some of the members of the band, which was really, really cool. Can you speak to the connection that you have with your fans and what it's like to be able to give them these opportunities?
I love it. I love that the connection continues to get stronger as the years go by. I love that we get the opportunity to hear these amazing experiences and these stories of how the fans have used the music to help themselves heal from traumatic experiences in their lives, or help them to triumph over adversity and get over obstacles in their life. It never bores me. It never gets mundane. I really cherish those moments, and being able to hear these stories and put human faces to them, and to feel the level of emotion. I mean, these experiences are as much of an experience for us as it is for them, and we actually really look forward to them every time we play.
That's so beautiful. I spoke with Ann Wilson recently, and she had some lovely things to say about you. She called you Shakespearean in your delivery, and
I'm not worthy.
You got a chance to work together on a song that's on the new Disturbed album, Divisive. The song is called Don't Tell Me. So what was that experience like working with a legend?
So surreal. She's so gifted and so just naturally talented, and just has this effortless vibrato that comes out of her. And it was just so transcendent for me. I had to be pinching myself as it was going on. Danny and I flew out to the West Coast to meet up with her and her husband when it came time to track this. And the whole experience was just something that I will remember for the rest of my life. I mean, she's just so iconic and so professional, and still just kills it after, all these years of her killing it consistently. And she's an inspiration, and male, female, doesn't matter. In my opinion, humbly, one of the greatest rock, one of the greatest voices, period, rock or any other genre of all time.
Undisputable. And like you said, she still sounds great after 50 years of doing this. It's absolutely amazing. I wanted to ask you about another collaboration, and that is one with Nita Strauss, the guitarist. She's got a new album out, and you were on her song Dead Inside. So how did that come together with Nita and Josh?
Well, I've been friends with Josh for, oh God, 20.
That guy knows everybody.
Yeah. He gets around, doesn't he? But we've known each other for probably better than 20 years. He reached out to me when they had the very early skeletal ideas of these songs. He had that one in mind for me, him and Nita did. It was very, very easy to write to. I had an idea once I finally had the time to spend on it. Within 24 to 48 hours of sitting with it, I already had a song idea that was pretty well developed, and annoyed the living crap out of them for the next number of days, barraging them with messages and versions and ideas, and was within a week of really harnessing the idea, flying out to the West Coast to track it. And it came together incredibly powerfully, and I'm very, very proud of what we accomplished together. I mean, she very much deserves all the credit that she's been given, and all of the praise that she's been given. She's truly a fantastic guitar player, regardless of being female or otherwise. She shreds, and she's also the both of them, her and Josh, make a very prolific songwriting team together. They have tremendous production chops of their own that I was very, very impressed with when I finally was able to work with them. So I'm very proud of her, and I'm very proud of them, and I'm very proud of what we were able to accomplish together.
Yeah, they're kicking ass, it's really amazing to see their trajectory. And it was worth all of that back and forth effort, because the song was all over rock radio last summer. So fantastic all around. We're speaking with David Draiman on 93.3 WMMR. You've had a love-hate relationship, we'll call it, with social media over the years. Sometimes you're on it, sometimes you're off it for a stretch. And when you are on it, you're pretty vocal. So my question for you is, are we going to see you on Threads?
I already signed up this morning.
Perfect. Yes. Yeah. Excellent.
I figured I shouldn't miss the boat. I never quite got on the TikTok parade. I know we have our Disturbed band page, which has grown by leaps and bounds ever since we launched it. I can't believe that we're well over 1 million followers on TikTok almost out of the gate, which is very, very humbling. But I don't know what this whole Threads thing is going to be like. We'll see. And I right now, just my first initial vibe from using it is there's not a whole lot distinguishing it from something like Twitter. We'll see who ends up getting more traction in this crazy environment of ours, and we'll just I'm looking forward to the experience. We'll see how crazy it ends up being. Yeah,
my first thought was, it's the comments section of Instagram, and that's it. Yeah, but everyone seems enthusiastic. So it's one of those things where it's like, all right, obligatory. You get on it, you take the ride, and you see where it goes. And social media has definitely been an agent of chaos at times, but it's also delivered a lot of good. And not only with fans being able to connect with people like yourself that maybe they wouldn't otherwise have the opportunity to reach out to, but the memes, the mashups, all of the fantastic content. I am always laughing at particularly Down with the Sickness when it surfaces in goofy TikToks or reaction videos, or there was one where it was mashed up with the Macarena, and it blew my mind.
And it worked, like, right?
And it worked. But here's the thing, that song is 20 years old. So what is it like for you to sit back and watch this song sort of get another life with a new generation in a weird way that you have absolutely no control over?
I love it. Keep it coming. It just it's a testimony to the fact that it still impacts with people. It still makes the impression. It still is this universal, like, tribal wake-up call. I love that. I love that it seems to be permeating so many different areas and so many different spaces. It's very, very gratifying to watch it continue to spread.
Do you have a favorite meme that someone has tagged you in?
Oh God, there's so many. I mean, they just keep on coming. It never ends. That one where they put my face on Richard Simmons' body, like literally, like I almost died laughing when I first saw that one.
I have not seen that one, and I am going to look it up immediately after this chat.
It's funny.
That sounds like internet gold.
Yeah.
Disturbed is a band that is solidly in the rock format, right? But over the years, there's been discussion, is Disturbed a metal band? Is it new metal? Is it strictly hard rock? How do you classify Disturbed in terms of genre?
As just Disturbed. I don't think that we're bound by a genre per se. I mean, we definitely gravitate towards the hard rock sphere of things. And if we had come out during, the late 80s, early 90s, there would have been no question where we lie. If we had come out during the era of Priest, Maiden, all the heyday of those bands, everyone would have called us metal. Sure. There wouldn't have been a question about it. But in the decades that have followed since then, there's so many subgenres now to it, and heavy metal has become identified as something that's much heavier than what hard rock has now become. I mean, look, if you listen to even, I know this is a taboo thing to say, but if you listen to alternative radio back in the day, it was what active rock sounds like today, right? And so everything is constantly in flux and everything is changing over the course of time. I think that we've been able to show that we can go outside of our comfort zone and we can go outside of the box that people like to confine Disturbed in. The Sound of Silence cover is testimony to that. Songs like A Reason to Fight, Hold On to Memories, and now the Ann Wilson duet, Don't Tell Me, are definitely testimony to that. So we just love creating, and we love, speaking from our hearts and just trying to make the most powerful, compelling songs that we can. At the end of the day, we're Disturbed, and whatever genre people want to lump us into, they can have fun with it. It won't be part of something we fight against. And I'm just proud to be a part of the whole thing.
I love it. You mentioned the Sound of Silence cover, and I wanted to ask because that one is probably your most prominent cover, but you've covered all sorts of bands, Genesis and Sting, and the list goes on. And you do a great job at reinterpreting these songs in the style of Disturbed. So what's the criteria for choosing a song to reinterpret? How do you go about saying, all right, this is the one that we're going to cover?
Well, a huge amount of it is lyrical content. If it's a song about rainbows and puppy dogs, it probably won't really adapt well as a Disturbed song very well. But
I don't know. I kind of want to hear you cover Taylor Swift.
Yeah.
So Taylor Swift can get dark.
I would love to cover a Taylor Swift song. I think that she is one of the most prolific songwriters of our generation. I think she's insanely talented. I'd love to collaborate with Taylor if she ever wanted to on any given day.
Are you listening, Taylor? Are you listening?
No. I've said it before. I'll say it again. I think she's a brilliant woman. I think she's, like I said, one of the great songwriters of our time. I love her gumption. I love the fact that she gets on stage in front of tens of thousands of screaming young female fans and plays a real instrument and sings live and is the real deal. I mean, there are a number of people within the pop genre that still do it the way that she does it. And, Pink is one of them. Lady Gaga is one of them. A lot of these people are just so gifted and so great at what they do. And she's certainly way, way, way up there. I have nothing but the utmost respect for her.
Well, I know you're a busy man. The new album Divisive is out now, and we will see Disturbed when they come to Camden on August 21st with Breaking Benjamin and Ginger. The show is on sale now. David, thank you so much for taking the time.
Thank you for having me, and thank you for your support.